How we doing, y'all? This is The Innate Effect with Dr. Alex DeFrancisco. Thank you so much for joining me on this fantastic journey. I'm so excited to get rolling with this. So, like I had mentioned, I am Dr. Alex DeFrancisco. I own a pediatric chiropractic practice known as Innately Chiropractic with my beautiful wife, Dr. Bree Hoffman. Our practice is located here in Grapevine, Texas, in the DFW area. And our mission, very simply, is to help as many people as possible, but especially children. And the reason that we say that, obviously and when people ask, do you work with adults? Do you help with, do you help with adults? Do you help with athletes? And we always say absolutely. But when people ask what kind of practice do you have, we always lead with a pediatric practice. And the reason for that is because we feel like we can have the greatest effect on our community, which will then obviously have the greatest effect on our state, on the country, on the world by helping kids specifically through chiropractic care. Because I don't know if you know this or not, we're having a little bit of an epidemic in this country when it comes to healthcare. There's a lot of different things going on. There's a lot of there are things that have been going on that were unheard of 20, 30, 40 years ago by the way of chronic diseases and different things that kids are having to deal with, on top of the fact that technology is changing rapidly. Information is more available than ever. And before I get a little too excited, before I get too ahead of myself, I would just like to kind of continue with, like I said, that quick introduction. So we've had this practice for about a year and a month now. We started in June of 2022. I'm originally from Youngstown, Ohio. Did my undergrad at Ohio State, and now I'm here we did grad school at Parker University here in Dallas, Texas, and that is where I met the love of my life, known as Dr. Bree Hoffman, who is originally from Logan, Utah. She did her undergrad out there at Weber State and came out here for grad school also. We met, fell in love, found a city that we had never been to, and said, yeah, this seems like a pretty good place to start a practice, right? Um, so, getting back to why I'm starting this, why we started this practice, we want to help, like I said, as many people as possible. And to me, I think it would be foolish not to hop on one of these, awesome outlets and just start letting people know that there are options. We have so many moms that come into our office, whether we're like the last resort or the second to last resort, and they explain all of the issues that their children are having, and they say that nobody listens to me, nobody believes me. I've been to all these other specialists, and all of their tests say that they're fine, that there's nothing wrong, but I know that there's something wrong with my child. I know that they're not living the life that they're supposed to be living. And something that we always make a point to tell moms is, hey, we believe you. That's one of the number one lines that gets used in our consultation after the mom or after whoever it is explains to me why they're in our office. The first thing I tell them is, hey, I believe you. And I believe in you. I believe in your body's innate ability to heal itself from above down, inside out. For those of you that may not understand what that term means, don't worry. We'll get into plenty of that here on this podcast. But, like I said, we want to be able to help those people and allow them to know that there are other options. So, just like with anything, there's a lot of parallels in a chiropractic practice to somebody else's life. And so that's going to be really what I'm aiming to do, is not only talk about chiropractic, not only talk about specifically pediatric chiropractic, but also my life and my wife's life just in general, and some of the struggles that we've had to this point, but also some of the awesome things that have come through starting this endeavor. And something that we always tell patients at their reported findings when they come in and they say, all right, doc, lay it on me. how screwed up am I, right? And don't always like that terminology, but people come in and they say like, all right, so what did you find? Um, and that something that we always say that I always lead with before we even really get going into the reported findings. I go, I can't make you any guarantees. I can't wave a magic wand and take away some of these issues that you've been having, that your child's been having. It unfortunately doesn't quite work just that quickly. But the one guarantee that I can make you, and really the only guarantee that a doctor can ever make you, and if they try to guarantee something other than this, they probably don't have what's best in mind for you. They're probably already pushing a different agenda, because really the only guarantee that you can make, and this is what I tell my patients, is that if you walk out of here today and don't change anything at all, the problems that you're dealing with right now will be there tomorrow, and they'll continue to get worse over time. And like I said, I think that's very parallel to life in general. If you're not eating well, if you're not exercising, if you're not working at your relationship, if you're not working at your job, if you're not working at all of these different aspects of your life, and you sit there and you think like, I'm not happy with some of these aspects. Why am I not happy with some of these aspects? Why can't I catch a break? Why won't anything change? It's because you haven't changed. It's because you're not doing anything differently, right? And so we're able to take care of a lot of families. We're able to take care of quite a few families here in our office. We've been able to um, help some kids and help families with some really serious conditions, and they've gotten phenomenal results. So it's not like I'm upset with my life or that I'm upset with our practice, but I certainly don't think that this is the creme de la creme. I don't think that this is the ceiling by any stretch of the imagination. We want to be helping hundreds of more families and hundreds of more kids. Um, so I have to work at it. I have to do something different. And that's how I landed right here talking to you with this podcast, with this video series, however you're watching it. I decided that something different has to be done. There's a Jim Rohn quote that says, you can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. And he says, but the other side of the coin reads, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you got. And that really hit me deep. And that's really kind of where I've gotten the guarantee line that we use with patients during the reported findings. If you don't change, you either need to be happy with your circumstances, and this is the best that it's going to get, or something different has to happen. And as uncomfortable and as scary as it's been starting a small business in the time that we're in, I don't think I have to get too far into that. But when you go to the gas station and you just wanted to get a water and some pretzels, and the cashier says, well, that'll be $12, and you go, it was a water and some pretzels, like, I guess I just want the water. And she goes, oh, okay, so now it's just $7. And you're like, oh. So, like I said, starting a small business at this point in time has been interesting in that sense, right? It's been scary, and in a city that neither me or my wife have lived in previously. We're meeting people, basically everybody, for the first time, right? And so that can also be scary, trying to develop your community, your tribe, your network of people, of friends, but also of entrepreneurs and practitioners. You know, it can be pretty daunting. Me and Bree talk all the time that it's like, hey, if you and me didn't work out, if we didn't work out when we were dating, we used to laugh like, I don't know if I was gonna date. I think that might have just been it. Maybe I would have mailed it in and just said, no, I'm good. I guess this just isn't gonna happen, right? Because like we just don't want to go back out there. We don't want to have to go play those games. So in some ways, it kind of mirrors having to go out into the community and meet people for the first time, and get rejected a lot, to be honest with you. But those all of those no's are just getting you one step closer to a yes. And then this channel, talking to you guys, I'm probably not that great at it, or at least not yet. And it's scary. It's scary looking at this computer screen and just seeing me and speaking into this microphone. It can be uncomfortable. I'm sure, hopefully it sounds good. But like I said, all of those things are scary, but even when you add them all up, if you combined the uncomfortability of all of those things, if you add them all up, they don't come close. They don't come close to a parent potentially hearing this for the first time and them being able to get their child the health care and the help they so badly deserve and that they so badly need. If just one person hears this, if just one person resonates with this, if this makes a difference in just one person's life, it far outweighs and supersedes any of the fears that I have with starting this practice in a new city and starting a new channel. It just doesn't compare. It's not even remotely on the same wavelength when you can help a child with a tic disorder that they just have no control over, and the mom brings them in and says, can you help? And just a couple of weeks in, she comes in and says, I can't believe it. I don't know what it is that you do, and I don't understand how it's happening, but he hasn't had a tick, and he's happier, and he's sleeping better, and he's able to process his emotions better. That just far and away outweighs any fears of doing something that might be quote unquote scary, right? I heard a quote that if if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. Well, right now I'm terrified, so so we must be going in the right direction. Um, so I'll wrap it up with this. I believe that everybody deserves to be heard. I think your music needs to be played. I think your song needs to be sang. Now that doesn't always mean that people are going to agree with you or that they're going to enjoy it. In fact, I expect most people to probably at the very least get a quick laugh out of this video. They're probably thinking like, oh man, he's just starting out with a computer and a mic. Oh, why is he even trying, right? And that's fine. If I provided some comic relief for them, then good on them, right? But for that one person that this thing resonated with, for the one person that's been deciding, or going back and forth between deciding to start something like this, or to start a business, or to ask that person out, or just to do something different with their life, to get into the gym more, to start running more, to start eating better. For anybody that's on the fence of doing something that's going to make their life better and also make potentially somebody else's life better, do it. And if you're scared, if you don't know where to start, tag me in your stuff, shoot me a message. I'd love to be able to help you. I'd love to be able to create a network of people that are just trying to be better than what they are. I had a great mentor of mine tell me that the only person you should be competing with is the person that you were yesterday. So if you fall into that camp, if you're trying to be better than you were yesterday, give me a like, give me a follow, shoot me a message. Don't do anything. You don't have to listen to me. um, but like I said, I'm looking to create a network of people that are trying to make a difference in their life and in somebody else's. So until next time, this is the Innate Effect with Dr. Alex DeFrancisco.